Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to stop these shapes. We practiced last week with the circle. So what we did to stop the circle is we added a curved line down here to mimic the curved line up above it, okay? If I'm wanting to stop this shape up here, I would do the same thing, okay? So once you erase out these lines, shapes are no longer going all the way to your vanishing point, okay? All right, so let's go to something a little more complicated. If we mimic the same curved line here, down here, what would we do with this line to stop that shape?
Same thing you do with a circle.
Right, if it's kind of a stretched out curved line, you would draw a stretched out curved line. It would just be slightly smaller. So what we're going to do is draw a curved line that mimics that one. Okay, now look at the space we have between here and here. When I stop this line, it's going to be about the same space. So it's kind of a wavy line, so we're going to draw a wavy line there. Okay, same thing up here. We're going to copy that wavy line right about here and stop when we get to our shape. Okay, this one's a little tricky because it's going to go back behind this spot. So we're going to just mimic the part we see, which is right here. Okay, and then we would do the same thing here. So when we erase out the guidelines we don't need, here's what you have. Okay, now we have a three-dimensional shape. Now it looks like a form on our 2D surface. Okay, so the straight lines are a little easier because you're not having to mimic the same line, but the trick is to use your ruler. Notice how I have that straight line in front of me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my ruler down so that it's staying parallel to this line above it. Okay, and this square is a bad example because I don't see much of that side. Technically, I would need to draw another side, but I'm not going to see it. Okay, you're watching? All right, so I'm going to turn my paper a little bit for this triangle. Okay, I'm going to hold the ruler so it's parallel. It's in front of me. I'm going to pull it down. Draw a line parallel to this line. I'm going to turn my paper. I'm going to pull my ruler down until I get to this corner. When I draw this line, it needs to be parallel with the line above it. Okay? So what does parallel mean?
It's two sides running next.
There are two lines running next to each other and they'll never cross, right? Okay. All right, let's do the F. It's a little more complicated, but it's a good one to practice with. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my ruler on this line. I'm going to pull it toward me. I'm going to stop right about there. And draw this line, which is parallel to that line. Okay. Now I need to draw the one that connects to it, which is here. I'm going to pull my ruler down until I get to that corner. Draw a parallel line. Turn my paper again until I get to that line. Go ahead and draw that one too. Okay. Now do I draw a line here? No, because it's going through the shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the corner here, and I'll help you with these because these get a little tricky. Okay, and I have one more down here. What's most important is that you have all of your guidelines correctly. Otherwise, when you stop these shapes, it's not going to be correct. So let me check your guidelines before you start cutting off these shapes. So when you're done cutting off the shapes, you can go in and erase out all the unnecessary guidelines, which is why I wanted to stress to you guys to draw lightly so that when you erase, it actually erases and it doesn't leave lines behind. Okay, so after we're finished with cutting off our shapes, we're going to go back in with shading techniques so we can really increase how much space we have in our picture.